Silver Star, I didn't do any opiates or any of that stuff, but I would do like cocaine here and there. Like,
So that's where
it's just bound to be in a strip club, and you're around everybody that's doing it all the time. So I was making like $1,000 a night sometimes. He came up to me when I was on stage and asked me if I could find him some blow. And then that night, actually, it was his birthday. Him and his friend ended up coming back to my house perks a day, and we were sniffing them, and probably 10 each, and then it became 20 each, 30 each a day, to the point where we were sniffing so many that our noses were like caving in, Hi, my name is Brandy.
Okay. And how old are you, Brandy?
39.
39? That's still nice and young, right? Okay. And
Sure is.
Sure is. So where are you from originally, Brandy? We'll start with that.
Port Hope.
Port Hope.
Port Hopeless.
How was your childhood? Hopeless. Mom, did you grow up
Mom
there?
and Dad.
Yeah.
My mom and Dad.
Okay.
They have known each other since they were little kids, and their parents were kind of like my mom and Dad's parents were kind of like best friends. So my mom and Dad were like, as kids, they like used to hide under the bed and smoke together. They got married and had their first kid at 16, and they're still together to this day. So I have 3 brothers.
You have any sisters?
No sisters.
Oh, just 3 brothers?
2 older brothers and 1 younger brother.
And you?
And me.
Okay, good. How's your relationship with your brothers?
I talk to my one brother pretty much every day. And then my other brother moved to Iowa. He met a girl on the internet and married her and built a house down in Iowa and got a really good job down there. And then my other brother lives in Ottawa. So everybody's kind of far away from each other, but I have a close relationship with them. I just don't see them very often because of the distance.
Okay, yeah. I see that one brother moved to the capital of Canada and one skipped Canada.
Mm-hmm. And one lives in my mom's basement.
Oh, in Port Hope.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they're in Bancroft now, so they just moved about 10 years ago. I lived in the same house in Port Hope for my whole life. Like, my parents never moved when I was growing up. They bought a house when they were 16, and they literally had it up until about 8 years ago.
Oh, that's lovely.
Then they moved to Bancroft area, Cardiff.
Oh, okay. No, that's lovely having the same house, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Especially around Christmas time, you all gathered in the same house.
Oh, yeah. My
At
parents
night.
had, my mom's got 20-something odd grandchildren, and everybody went to my mom's house every Christmas.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's great.
I never really had all that.
Yeah, it was great. I had a great childhood.
Yeah. That is great, actually. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And how's your relationship with your dad?
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah,
He's an
my
amazing
dad is.
father?
Yeah, my dad's. I couldn't ask for a better dad.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, he had the same job since he was 16 at Goodyear in Bowmanville, and he always provided for my family, and he was always there for all of us. Always. Anytime I need anything, I just go to my dad, and he's always there for me.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's always. I never had a father figure really in my life, so I'm listening. I hear you, but
Yeah, you don't know what it's like.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I really don't.
I got really lucky with my parents, that's for sure.
Yeah. And your mom?
Yeah, my mom's fucking my saving grace. My mom is definitely my saving grace. She's always there for me anytime I need somebody to talk to. Honestly, I couldn't imagine my life without her. She just recently got diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but she had to get a colonoscopy bag for a year, and then they removed it, and she's been doing a bit better since, but now she's on an oxygen tank, so Still not in the best health, but doing better.
Yeah. Well, we do get older, right?
Yeah.
How old's your mom?
I would say they're doing all right, I guess. They're getting older, though. So like you said, they only get older. So I think they're actually thinking about selling their house in Bancroft and getting an apartment soon, so they don't have to shovel the snow and all that.
You were living
fun
with your
stuff.
mom and your dad your whole entire youth, right?
Yeah, I moved out at like 14. I actually ran away from home because I was one of those like wild child.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't grow up bad, but I was like
You're rebellious.
hitchhiking, and I would steal from stores, and me and my brother were stealing cars when I was 14, 15.
Yeah.
Just, I was like always trying to be cool, I guess. So I kind of like followed the leader.
Okay.
And so, like, I don't know, I just ran away from home at 14. I got mad at my mom one day and ran away from home. I hitchhiked to Oshawa because my parents, that's where I was born. I was born in Oshawa.
Mm-hmm.
And then my parents moved right to Port Hope. So for some reason, I just kept going back to Oshawa. So I hitchhiked there, and that's where I met my first kids. Like, I have 7 kids, and 5 of them are with Harley. And so I met him in Oshawa at a coffee shop when I was 15. And
how many children do you have with this Harley?
5.
You have 5 with Harley?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I met him at 15 years old at a
Where?
in Oshawa.
In Oshawa.
Yeah, which is
Okay,
ironic.
okay.
So yeah, and we got together, and actually he was roofing, and I started popping out kids. Well, I got pregnant at 17 and had my first kid at 18.
Mm-hmm.
And then my next one at 19, my next one at 20, my next one at 22, and my next one at...
You're planning for the future. You want to have a nice family.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What happened with the relationship with Harley? What happened there?
So I was with him for 15 years, and then he got addicted to drugs. He was kind of sort of doing everything, and
so how did that come into picture? Was he on drugs? Or
he wasn't on drugs when we met. He was roofing, and he was a really, really good father, and I don't know where or how about he started doing them. I think it was working with roofers. He just eventually got into it, and he was doing it behind my back and whatnot, and I didn't even smoke weed at this time.
So he was just doing it for recreation.
Recreational use,
For
but
fun.
then became addicted to opiates and whatnot. And then it just got to the point where he was stealing cars and robbing people and doing break-and-enters, and I just didn't want that around the kids. So I took the kids and I moved to Hamilton for a few years.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you guys end up in Barrie?
After Hamilton, I actually, I went to college. I wanted to just kind of straighten my life up and go back to school. So I applied.
What were you going to college for? Sorry, I don't
policing.
mean to, policing?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't mean to cut you off like that. It's just sometimes I gotta slip it in there. I'll
Yeah.
forget.
No, I was going
So
for
policing.
policing. Yeah.
So you want to be a police officer?
Yeah.
What kind of a
Police officer, private investigator.
Okay, detective.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a.
So I did it. Yeah, I did it for 6 years, and then I found out you can't have a criminal record. So
I guess you didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that. They don't tell you that.
Wow. Oh wow.
And then I met my second baby dad at work at the Silver Star.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you met your other baby daddy at the Silver Star. What were you doing at the Silver Star?
Stripping.
You're dancing.
Yes.
Okay. So you're working there as a dancer?
Yes.
That's downtown Barrie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I started working there. Well, single mom, and I had 5 kids at the time. Plus, I was going to school, so stuff became expensive, and so yeah, it was really good money then. I was making like $1,000 a night sometimes there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he was was he a worker there? Or
No,
just a
he actually,
customer?
I was on stage and he came up to me and asked me if I could find him some drugs.
Did you?
I did.
Okay. So, how do you had an addiction? You were saying earlier. You're recovered now.
I was actually like, when I was working at Silver Star, I didn't do any opiates or any of that stuff, but I
Yeah.
would do like cocaine here and there. Like,
So that's where
it's just bound to be in a strip club and you're around everybody that's doing it all the time. So
yeah.
if I was like offered a line, all girls do it in the bathroom there, customers do it in VIP all the time.
Hmm.
So if I got offered something, I would do it, but I didn't like go and look for it or buy it. So yeah, he came up to me when I was on stage and asked me if I could find him some blow. And then that night, actually, it was his birthday. Him and his friend ended up coming back to my house for his birthday that night, and he just never left. He
Okay.
was one of those hobosexuals.
A what
A hobosexual.
was that?
I would just refer to it as like a guy that's homeless that just
Oh,
dates a girl to find a place to
okay.
live.
That's why I thought, but I wasn't. I've never heard that. Okay.
Yeah,
How was it?
so
Hobo.
hobosexual.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, then I got pregnant like 3 months after being with him, and my neighbor at the spot where I was staying was doing Percocets, and he happened to ask me like probably like a week after we got together, do you know anywhere I can get Percocets? And I knew my neighbor got them, so this is where it all started.
How bad were you in your addiction?
So at first, we were getting like 20 perks a day, and we were sniffing them, and probably 10 each, and then it became 20 each, 30 each a day, to the point where we were sniffing so many that our noses were like caving in, like there was actually like giant holes in both of our noses, both of our heads were like going numb all the time, like we were sick more than we were feeling good because it just got so bad. I was probably at my worst part of my drug addiction, spending $2,000 a day. But so like we did Percocets, and then they weren't enough, so we started doing hydromorphs, and then we started doing Oxy 80s, and it got to the point where I was buying probably 20 of those a day, which are $50 each. And then me and my second baby father broke up for a while, and he got his own house, and this was after I had 2 kids with him. I was dropping my kids off, and I walked in his house, and I seen him at his table sniffing a line of something gray, and I was like, what are you doing? And he told me he was sniffing H. I didn't know what H was. I was like, okay, what's H? Like, I had no idea what it was. At that point, I was still doing Oxy 80s. But because we had been split up, I guess, because I was the one with the connection with the Oxy 80s, they're very hard to find now. And heroin, fentanyl is really easy to find. So, because he didn't want to get sick, he had started doing heroin. Well, at this point, when I walked in on him, I didn't have anything either. And he's like, just do a really small line of this. It'll make you feel better. And I was like, what is it? And he just kept saying H. And I just felt really crappy. So he gave me a really, really tiny, tiny line. And right away I felt better. And it was just downhill from there.
So what is H? Say it again.
Heroin.
H is just straight heroin.
Heroin, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but I don't think it was heroin. I think it was still fentanyl back then, but I don't think there's been heroin around for a long time. I think it's all fentanyl and carfentanil.
Yeah, I think fentanyl and carfentanil started in 2019.
Yeah, this was right around the same time.
So 2019.
2019, yeah. So 2019, 2020, our addiction was super duper bad. We bought, I think, $600 one night of fentanyl, and we went back to my house and we got super duper high. We both fell asleep on our couch, and our two little ones walked out the front door of our house in their diapers to the park by themselves, and they were found by
When you were high and you guys passed out,
Yeah.
say on the couch or whatnot,
completely like almost overdose high.
and your children went outside.
Went outside in the pouring rain in their diapers, just went for a walk. Down to the park down the street. I lived by Ferndale, and the park was right down the street from our house. So they were found at the park by one of our neighbors, and the cops were called, and CAS was called. We just woke up to police inside the house, children's aid inside the house, banging. The tap water was running from my kids. The house was destroyed from the kids. There was cereal all over. And we were both arrested on the spot. And he had a no contact order with me at that point. So he didn't get bail, but I got bail and got out the next day. And both my kids were put into foster care.
Okay. So what happened when you got out of jail?
When I got out,
How did your life obviously changed, right?
it changed drastically. After about a month of being in care, they went to go live. My kids went to go live with my mom down in Bancroft, and I was just like a complete mess. I was in this big 5-bedroom house that was completely furnished, and there by myself every day, and no kids, and just everything around me reminded me of my kids. So my drug addiction kind of got worse and worse. Like I was probably doing 1,000 a day, like by myself, and my ex was in jail still, so I didn't really have anybody to do it with, so it became really dangerous at that point. And so I gave up my house. My landlord gave me first and last back to move out. And so I took the money and I like really went nutsos with it, with drugs, and I moved into a shelter. I think that's when the hotel on Essa Road was doing, giving you rooms. I think it's Comfort Inn.
During the COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I stayed there, and they found me overdosed actually there, and they called an ambulance. I had to be Narcaned and brought back to life. So yeah, I was Narcan there and brought back to life. Went to the hospital, got released, and then just like a week later, I was heading to my mom's to pick up a big screen TV I had left there. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna grab fentanyl on the way there, and I'll do a line on the way there. And my friend was driving me, and I didn't want him to know I was doing fentanyl, so I had him pull over at A&W in Aurelia. I went in the bathroom, I did a line, went back in the car, and I must have overdosed like pretty soon after that. And my parents lived 2 hours away, so like we got to my parents' house down in Bancroft, and I don't remember anything, but I was completely KO'd, like lifeless, pulling up to my parents' house, and thankfully my brother was like a user and happened to have a Narcan kit, because my parents literally live in the middle of nowhere. There's not a hospital close by. Nearest hospital and ambulance is 20 minutes away. So my brother Narcaned me, and thankfully it worked. And that's literally the last time I ever touched it.
So that kind of changed
Yeah,
your life. Or
definitely.
It scared you.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Definitely. Well, at the point, like my mom's I respect my parents a whole lot. Like, they've been there for me through my drug addiction, and
So you
they've
had a good support system.
a very good support, like very
You're
good
lucky
support.
this way, 'cause a lot of people don't have that.
Mhm. My mom pushed me all the time to get clean. She's amazing like that. And like I just felt really embarrassed for like because their town is like 100 people.
Yeah.
I felt embarrassed of an ambulance going there and like just them the whole town thinking that my parents had a drug addict as a daughter. I don't know, I didn't want them to be judged because of me. So that that changed my life right there. I never touched it again. I went back to Barrie actually. This is how I got clean without going on methadone or anything. I went back to Barrie and stayed with a friend, and I actually did cocaine for a week straight to get off of fentanyl. So I would do lines of cocaine throughout the day, and so the cocaine would kind of like not make me high, but not make me sick. And then the Seroquel would get rid of the restless leg syndrome. It would put me right out, and I did that for a week because I didn't want to be trapped by methadone and be going to the clinic every day. Like, I just didn't have time for that. So I wanted to try anything but that, and it's happened to work.